So just make yourself comfortable against the wall, either sitting on the bolster if that feels comfortable for you. You can take a butterfly pose here, so the soles of the feet come together and just allow the knees out to the side. If you've got blocks by the side of you, you can always place the blocks under the knees as well. And really just use the wall. You know, it's a prop. It's there for our use, and just relax against the wall. Let all the body weight just release back. So it takes any tension away from holding yourself upright. Takes any stress into the spine and into the hips. And gently close the eyes if you haven't already. Take a few nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Sigh out everything you don't need for this practice. Breathe it out, let it go. Deep breath in through the nose, slow and deep. And exhale through the mouth. Take a couple more breaths like that until you feel that your body and your mind have come to a place of calm. And then gently returning back to nostril breathing in and out of both channels of the nostrils. Feeling the breath equally on left and right on the inhale and fully on the exhale. Start to draw into the breath, being mindful of any thoughts that might be distracting you from your practice. Notice and observe and feel the breath. And as you breathe, without forcing, without effort, without judgment, just observing, let all muscle contraction go and allow the joints to be nice and soft. And recognizing your surroundings and also that you have something behind you as a support. Really mold yourself into that prop of your wall. Notice your spine connecting. Notice your shoulder blades connecting. Maybe the back of the head. Notice if the arms are connecting, the elbows. And then start to feel that you are grounded into the bolster as you let your body weight sink even further. And that body weight goes into the bolster, and the bolster just spreads naturally underneath you, or the block, or maybe you are already connected to the earth. So you already have two props that are helping you within your practice. As the parasympathetic nervous system starts to come in, that rest and digest, rather than the sympathetic nervous system being that fight or flight. Continuing to let the mind and the body be calm and still. If you feel tension or tightness, send the breath to those areas. Or take a deep breath out and let go. Then gently bring some movement back into the fingers, into the wrists, and just dropping the chin, stretching out through the neck, giving yourself a little massage into the neck muscles, maybe turning the head to left or right, yes and no. And then coming away from the wall and taking away your prop, your bolster, or your block. And the best way, because we're going to go through postures where we're right up against the wall, and postures that are away from the wall and we're using the wall as a prop. So the best way to really to kind of get all the buttocks in towards the wall is going sideways on. So you just scoot your buttocks up towards the wall. And it sometimes helps to have socks on, but it depends if you're really worried about your paintwork. So it's up to you if you want to put socks on here. And then just bringing the buttocks up towards the base, the connection of your wall and your floor together. We're going to come into butterfly here. So we're going to bend into the knees, soles of the feet come together, and just notice how that feels for you. If you're too close to the wall and you're not able to come into the butterfly, move away a little bit, but find comfort wherever it is. Take the arms out to the side, palms face up to the sky, spread the shoulder blades. Allow the back of the head to be comfortable. And notice where feels comfortable for the feet to rest. You may find that they'll start to slowly slide down the wall, and the knees will open a little bit further. So try and let the hips drop down. The whole of the spine is connected towards the ground. The hips aren't high, and if they are high and you're struggling, move back away from the wall so that your spine can come fully down. Trying to keep the toes connected if you can. The heels might not be connected, and that's okay. Take those steady breaths. Let the feet just mold themselves into the prop of the wall. And let your back, body, and head mold itself into the earth. Return back to that steady, even, slowing breath. Nice and gently bring the hands to the knees, and then gently raise the feet. As you close the knees, you're going to draw the hips closed and just drop the knees in towards one another as if we were in that restorative pose. It might feel a little bit alien when we're trying to pigeon the knees in towards one another, but just allow some relaxation into the spine and the hips. And then for this one, you might wish to scoot yourself a little bit closer. So just shuffle forward and get the buttocks all the way against the wall. Spread the spine as much as you can underneath you. The legs come all the way out to the side into Dragonfly. Again, you can take a bend into the knees. Try and let the legs be heavy. But if it's really uncomfortable, pull yourself again a little bit away from the wall and just place the soles of the feet there. So the legs might not go wide. Try and come back into that state of relaxation through the hips, the pelvis, the spine, the shoulder blades, and the arms. Again, use the wall. Know that it's there to support you. It is a prop, so you're not having to hold the legs up. And just be careful when we're moving into the different poses. If you're straining your neck backwards to look at the screen, just try and not put force or stress into the cervical spine, those 7 very, very fragile vertebrae at the top of the spine connecting to the skull. So maybe just try and listen to the alignment cues or the movement cues, and I'll take a look at you, and if I see you going off in a different direction, I'll let you know. But maybe close the eyes and try not to look at the screen so much. Use the exhale. Let the legs feel heavy. Holding for just a couple more breaths. And then taking your time really, really slowly to come out of the pose. Bring the hands to the thighs. Gently bend into the knees. Draw the knees in towards the rib cage. And then slowly close the hips. Draw the knees together. And then take the feet to the outer edges just a little bit. So you just want to find a place of restoration from that particular pose, whatever feels good. Let the hips and the spine release. And then nice and gently draw the knees in towards the chest. And because we're quite close to the wall, you might be able to cross at the ankles. If the feet are touching the wall, that's okay. And just draw the knees in towards the chest. Deep exhale. And if you chose to cross at the ankles, just gently switch, place the other ankle on top. Maybe the toes are still connecting to the wall. And then slowly roll over to the side. Take your time. We are going to come up to standing. So this is really steady. We don't want to stress the body. It doesn't matter how glamorous it is to come up. Don't worry, no one's watching. Okay, so this one is melting heart. So place the hands up against the wall and maybe the forearms come into the wall. And again, it's finding what works for you with the feet wide, knees bent, dropping the head in towards the wall and then dropping the chest towards the floor. So I know this might look a little weird from the back there. So don't worry, no one's watching. And it depends on your spine, your shoulder opening. Maybe don't go so deep, but you might want to stretch the back of the hamstrings. You might want to drop into the chest and the shoulders. Great, really lovely. And maybe the arms, are fully connected and you can spread out the fingers. Feel the palms almost connecting in towards the wall. Your feet are grounding you. Again, with Yin, we have no muscle contractions, so everything is soft. Surrender into softness. There's not too much pressure at the top of the head. Try not to push the head into the wall. It's just resting there. You might drop the belly a little bit more and lift the sit bones if you wish a deeper stretch throughout the entire spine. And the lower that the elbows go downwards, the deeper that stretch becomes. Breathe in through the front and the back body. Breathe in through the spine. Breathe in through the heart and the lungs. And then nice and gently, just bringing the hands and the head away from the wall. Keep the connection there. Just relax into the knees and the ankles. Drop the chin towards the chest and just relax into the shoulders. Feel that connection to the wall as a prop and the earth, and then straighten through the legs. Going to come into a shoulder stretch. So we're going to turn sideways onto the wall. If you can, try and get your hips facing forward. Feet are parallel. You can take them hip width if you like. The right arm comes back behind you, and the higher that arm is, in line with the shoulder, that's basically what you're doing against the wall, the more challenging that is going to be. So if that's really painful into the shoulder, bring it down, and then you can work to bring that arm up. But what happens is that we tend to draw the body towards the wall, and the left shoulder will come forward. So just think about opening through the chest. It's a deep stretch, so don't go too deep, too fast. Again, spread the fingers. Feel the connection of your full palm. Or maybe it's more comfortable for you, and that depends on your shoulder rotation, to have the back of the hand. But try with the palm. Breathe into the tight areas of your shoulders. Relax the shoulder blades. This might be working your edge, particularly challenging, because we very rarely do anything that does any work like this. This exercise was given to me as a rehab when I had a shoulder impingement, and the shoulder impingement went all the way down my arm. So if you've ever had that, this was one of the exercises that was given to me. Holding for a few more breaths. And gently just peel yourself away from the wall. Keep that connection with that palm. And then gently release, come back into the center and just circle slowly through the shoulder. Doesn't have to be forceful. Again, we want to be soft with the joints. We've just held that pose for a couple of minutes and then circle the other way. Notice any clicks and crunches. It's just really honoring our bodies and being kind. Okay, coming into the other side, and you'll notice that one side is going to be tighter than the other because it's just natural. So again, bringing your hips square, and the arm can start low down. If you can try and get the shoulder to connect, spread the fingers, and then maybe you bring that arm up later on in the pose. This side particularly is very tight for me for some reason. So just notice for yourself which side you might need to work a little bit more with. Try and draw that back shoulder back so the chest is facing forwards. Nice deep breaths. Think of it as enjoyment, not as pain or too much of a challenge. If it's too much of a challenge, lower the hand all the way down to the thigh. You're still going to get that shoulder stretch. Just because my arm's at shoulder height doesn't mean that yours might be. So it's always respecting your body. Use the breath. Doing great. We're almost there on this one. There's not very many poses to challenge the body today, but just to give you a little bit of restoration and rehabilitation. And nice and slowly peel yourself away from the wall. Keep that palm connection as long as you can. And then if you stand back into Tadasana, just circle through the shoulder nice and gently. It's just feeling the rotation and then circle forward. And then do both shoulders together. See if one feels a little looser than the other. So circle back and circle forward and get the shoulder blades a bit more involved. And then coming to your back against the wall, take the feet wide, hip width or a little bit more. Feet are facing towards the front of your mat. And you just rest down. And again, this is a forward fold. So you might wish to rest your head. Dad, I'd probably recommend you resting your head on the bolster. But you can rest the buttocks back against the wall. Let the arms hang and let the head be supported. Be careful of the neck. If there's too much pressure into the neck from the bolster. So again, you want to really use the wall as your support. Let all of your weight go back into the wall. And maybe you don't use the bolster and you let the body fold down into a full forward fold. So it's your choice. And with this forward bend, we've got no reason to fall backwards. We have no reason to fall forwards. We're just using the wall. We're using the ground. Hello, Indy. Have you come to see everyone? Are you going to join in? I've got Indy today. Hello. Holding for just a few more breaths. If you chose to take a bolster option, you might wish to remove that and do a full forward fold and let the body hang forward. That's entirely up to you. And then from your forward fold, just gently Take the feet out to the outer edges. We're coming into Malasana squat. Straight away, you can use a block underneath you, but use the wall. So, you're not going to fall backwards. It means you can sink deeply into the Malasana squat. You can bring the hands into the front if that feels more comfortable than holding them into Anjali. Maybe the back of the head connects. Drop the sit bones. Be careful of any pressure coming into any other joints. So if you've got tension into knee joints or ankle joints, turn the toes inwards. Okay, so be nice and safe. You can try and lengthen the spine back against the wall. This is a great one. Oh, I like this. How do you feel? Relax into the toes. Relax into the muscles of the legs. Let the hips almost sink down. And maybe after a couple of minutes, even the buttocks are coming down towards the mat. Holding for just a few more breaths. Let go a little bit more if you can. Close the eyes and just draw into how this feels. You may never have done this. Might feel strange, might feel great. Notice your responses, how you react. Very gently release the hands behind you. Press into the hands, take time. Just fold the knees forward. And we're going to come into a wide leg, child's pose. Nice and slowly, just take the hips back to the heels. You can take a sway, whatever feels good, just to release out into the hips and the spine. Head might come down to the backs of the hands or onto the mat on the forehead. Take a deep breath out and just let go. And then nice and slowly, just roll up through the spine and come into kneeling. So bringing the knees together, bring the toes all the way back to the wall. Then we're just going to take a kneeling pose here, relax into the shoulders. And the spine might not be straight here because the spine will tend to drop back underneath, but try and lift the rib cages so that the spine is straight. The shoulder blades melt across the back. You can let the hands hang heavy. Feel the connection of the back of the neck and maybe back of the head. Try to relax into the ankles, the toes. If this is really problematic for you, you can bring the bolster underneath you and just rest the buttocks down onto the bolster. So if kneeling is a real problem, knees, ankles, sometimes the feet don't ever get flat, so it can be painful into the ankles. And then try and relax the head back as much as you can. And then very slowly release the hands down and just tuck the toes. And just gently roll up through the spine, coming into standing. Then we're going to take a forward fold towards the wall. So where we did the melting heart, we're going to take the body down. And again, you can use that bolster. This time you place the bolster against the wall here. But you relax the other way. And if you can, maybe you walk a little closer. You let the head drop. You try and put all your weight towards the wall. So you might be feeling the upper back connecting. You might just be feeling the back of the head or the neck, but whatever part of your body is connecting either to the bolster or to the wall or to the floor, obviously with the feet, relax into the toes. Let the knees and the ankles be soft. And sometimes it takes a bit of, working out where to find the best pose for you. So I'm going to try and relax into the hamstrings. So you want to let the body weight fold into the wall. Soft bend in the knees, micro bend almost. Let the body hang. You can't fall forward, can't fall back. Nice and slowly, just bringing yourself back up, using the hands against the wall if that helps. Take time to just stand and just bring your back to the wall for a moment. Maybe the heels touch, backs of the hands touch, shoulder blades and the back of the head. Or if that feels really uncomfortable, just bring the heels a little way away. So you want to try and feel all connection, almost like a Shavasana against the wall. A few deep breaths. Just feel really energetic all the way from the feet, all the way up to the crown of the head, and then looping all the way back down the back body against the wall, back down to the heels and the feet. Try to relax into muscles, softness in the joints. You can let the arms come down by the side of the body, but try and feel some connection with the hand against the wall. And then slowly walk away and come into Sphinx, but with bent knees. So be really careful here. You can take the feet together and the knees wide, and then you can press yourself back. Depends on your quadriceps of how much you come back. But you're going to come into Sphinx Pose, so bear in mind that. So you might be down a little bit lower into the chest if the knees are coming back towards the wall. And then just let the hips and the buttocks relax, open across the chest. So you're creating lift into the upper body and a sense of deep release into the lower body. What? Oh, dear. Try not to let the body drop. Maybe if you wish to deepen into the pose. This is our peak pose, by the way. We've worked into the shoulders and the spine. We've worked into the quads and the hamstrings. I've got hair all over my face. Thanks, Indy. So this is our peak pose. I'm going to hold for another couple of breaths. So really work with this one because this is brand spanking new. And nice and gently to come out of the pose, just slide the forearms, let the body come all the way down and just release into the hips a little bit, shimmy from side to side. Let the head relax. And then from here, we're going to roll onto our backs. So however you get there is okay. You can just roll onto the side and you're almost close to the wall. So you might have a little bit of a gap between you and the bottom of the wall. We're going to come into reclined pigeon. So this can be deep by bringing that left knee downwards. So if it's really deep, just keep that left leg a little bit softly bent. Right leg comes across, light flex into the ankle, knee goes out to the side. So remember, the deepness of that underneath buttock and hip will be determined by how close that left leg bends. The closer you are to the wall, deeper the stretch. Nice deep exhale into pigeon. Thinking about the hips and the spine relaxing, shoulder blades relaxing. No tension in the throat or the face. And just notice what sensations are coming up for you in that hip, into the buttock, into the side of the body, into the inner groin, the inner thigh, anywhere in that leg. Let go even further. And very slowly, just lifting the foot away with the left hand, placing it back up onto the wall, just both feet just connecting to the wall. Take the hands back behind you into cactus. Taking the left leg across the right, lightly flexing into the ankle. And again, just making sure that you feel comfortable in the pose to hold for a couple of minutes. And the higher that leg is, the less challenge, but drawing it down closer, bending your right ankle into that right knee. It's going to deepen that pose for you. Try and drop the hips, the buttocks. So if the hips are not coming down to the mat, take the foot a little bit higher. So you really drop the hips down. If the hips are lifting like this, you've gone too low with that top leg. Nice deep exhale. Release into tightness on this side. Notice what changes you need to make to the opposite side to equalize and balance. Holding for just a couple more breaths. And slowly take the foot up towards the wall. Place both feet, relax into the hips. Arms come back into cactus. Right angle at elbow. Backs of the hands rest down. Ow. And then slowly just draw the feet again in towards the chest. You're probably a little bit away from the wall for the feet to connect, but you can always just shuffle the bottom towards the base of the wall, and then maybe the feet connect. If you chose to cross at the ankles, make sure that you just cross to the other side. And then finding your block or bolster for once more. So bringing that underneath you, right up against the wall this time. And then just scoot yourself up onto the bolster somehow. Okay, so you're going to just drop the hips into the bolster or the block or into the mat if you haven't got that bolster. And again, you can take the feet wide if that feels good, or straight up, or you can bend into the knees. You don't have to be too close to the wall. Just somewhere where you can fully relax and be supported shoulder stand. I'm going to stay here a while, so really make sure that you are comfortable. Close the eyes and just let go. Try not to let the thoughts be distracted. Draw into the physical feeling of all of the blood flowing from the feet down the legs, into the hips, into the back, into the heart, into the throat, and into the head. trying to not hold the legs in any way. The wall is holding your legs. The ground is supporting you. Holding for just a few more breaths. I go even further. And taking your time to just drop the legs over to the side, coming off of the bolster or the block really carefully, sliding onto your side and taking the bolster and the block away from the wall. And then drawing yourself back, just placing the soles of the feet against the wall once more. And just feel that spinal connection into the mat. And just return back to butterfly. So notice if any differences within to the hips. And then taking the feet wide, really scoot the buttocks in towards the wall this time. And it's almost like a happy baby. So the feet open and the knees open. But they're bent knees. We're not staying here for long. These are just final hip openers before we come into Shavasana. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest, connect the feet in towards the mat, press the wall away. Sorry, I said feet in towards the mat. Press the wall away with the soles of your feet. You'll almost feel the spine slide underneath you. So a little bit of energy, and then let go and release. Do that twice more. Press the soles of the feet away. Drop the hips to the mat. Feel the spine lengthen and slide underneath you. And then gently release and let go. And last time, press the soles of the feet away. We're in child's pose. And then gently release. Drop the knees over to the right side. Try to keep the feet connected. You might wish to have a block underneath the knee. So a spinal twist here. The arms can come out to the side. So just letting those legs drop towards the earth. The feet are still connected to the wall. You're in a spinal twist. And then slowly walk the feet back along the wall into center. And take the knees to the other side. Try to keep the feet connected if you can. Maybe the knees come down to the mat or onto a block. And just open through the chest and the shoulders into that reclined twist. Let the legs be heavy. Relax into the side of your body. And slowly walk the feet back into the center. Take a moment, whatever feels comfortable, maybe the feet pressing against the wall with the knees bent. So we have one more seated posture before we come into Shavasana. So we're going to just drop the knees over. Take our time to press ourselves up. And we're going to have our back against the wall this time with the legs out in front of us. So really try and get yourself all the way back. And we're going to come into a forward fold. So you're really connecting in behind you. You can take the feet wide if you prefer, or you can fold forward. But when we fold forward, if you lose that connection, shimmy yourself back so you've got one point of contact against the wall somewhere. And just take a gentle forward fold, knees bent, legs are soft. And almost draw back to that connection point where you feel the base of your spine, or even just the top of your buttocks connecting to the wall. Let the head be heavy, and you can always use blocks and bolsters if you wish for support for the head. I want you to feel that connection to the wall and to the earth. Holding for just a few more breaths. Exhale deeply, letting go even further. Slowly walk the hands back and see if you can come all the way into upright against the wall. You might need to bend the knees if that's necessary. Relax the shoulders and just use the wall. Connect the entire spine, so almost draw the belly back so each and every part of your vertebrae is drawing back into the wall. And you drop the chin lightly so the back of the head is still connected. It's almost like you're scooping out the front of your body to draw backwards. And then slowly draw the knees in towards one another. Give yourself a big hug. And get warm, comfortable, coming into Shavasana. And this is your choice. You can either have the head connecting back to the wall or your feet. So as long as you've got your feet or your head connected. But if your head is connected, make sure it's just touching and it's not pulling the chin up towards the sky. So you're lengthening through the back of the neck. And if you move and lose that connection, just imagine there's an energy from the wall to the top of the head. And if you've chosen to take your feet against the wall, just relax the toes and allow the entire body to let go. After your practice, maybe a lot of things were new to you today, and the body is probably responding to those things, and also your mind as well, because you're not familiar with them. So, whatever came up for you today, just take a moment to process. Whether that was physical or mental. And then let those thoughts go away about your experience for yourself today. Draw back into the breath. And allow the body and mind to restore itself. As you begin to deepen your breath, bring awareness back to your connection to the wall and to the earth. And bring some movement back into the fingers, the wrists, feet, the ankles, and the head. And slowly, wherever you are, you might have your head to the wall, you might have your feet. Just draw the knees in towards the chest and just gently roll out and massage through the spine. Do what feels good. And then roll over to one side. Take time to come up to a comfortable seat and sitting back against the wall, maybe with a bolster, maybe without. That's your choice. Hands come into Anjali Mudra at heart center. Feel the connection of you sitting on the bolster or the mat and your entire back body connecting to the wall. And just drawing back to how you felt at the beginning of your practice, how you found the practice today for yourself, what things came up for you. And also just giving yourselves a big thank you for taking the time out of your day to give back to you, to give back to your body and your mind. And I thank you all so much. Namaste.